I don't know about you guys, but I absolutely love the Nintendo Switch Joy-Cons. I think having a breakaway controller mechanism is what really makes the Switch entirely unique from any handheld and home console ever made. As great as the Nintendo Switch Joy-Cons are, there are some out there that might not be too fond of the design. Fortunately, I've encountered quite a few Nintendo Switch JoyCon alternatives that are available on the market, and that's kind of what I want to talk about today. I just kind of want to compile a list of all of the JoyCon alternatives that I've come across over time, some that you might want to check out. Up first, I want to take a look at the third-party alternatives that are out there that kind of serve the same function as the original Nintendo Switch Joy-Cons, but are designed to just be more ergonomic. They come in all shapes and sizes and are made by a variety of different third-party companies. They pretty much have the exact same button layout as the Switch Joy-Cons, but they seem to be shaped and designed to allow the player to have a more comfortable experience based on what their preference is. The ones that I have in front of me right here kind of have more elongated edges on the side, very similar to the grip that comes with the original Nintendo Switch Joy-Cons. My experience with these varies. While I will admit some of them feel more comfortable than the actual Joy-Cons, most of them seem to be more cheaply made, much more cheaply made, and I'm constantly doubting how well they would hold up over time. While they're nice to have, just in case your original Joy-Cons seem to malfunction, personally I would not rely on these to be a legitimate replacement for the original. Up next, we have the alternatives that aim to change the button layout of your Nintendo Switch. Whether it's simply to add a D-pad or to completely alter the entire layout, my experience with Joy-Cons such as these have been overwhelmingly positive. The ones that you see right here aim to replicate the button layout of the GameCube controller. And while I will admit it doesn't succeed in that area entirely, it comes pretty damn close. And whether I'm playing Smash Bros. Or games that were ported over from the GameCube, these things are great to have. These specific ones that I have actually have amiibo support, which was a pleasant surprise, and are pretty solidly built. But as great as these are, this control layout doesn't work well with every Nintendo Switch game. So as much as I love these, I feel like they're more game specific than an actual overall viable option as a Joy-Con replacement, but still are good to have and I highly recommend. Up next, we have the alternatives that pretty much fully change the structure of your Nintendo Switch. Instead of being a breakaway controller mechanism, they fully encapsulate the console, making it one solid piece. The one that I have right here is the iPega Tomahawk, pretty much iPega's follow-up to the 9083, which has your Nintendo Switch pretty much slide into this control mechanism. Controllers like this are a fine option, and are actually my second favorite way to play the console in handheld mode. While I still prefer the Nintendo Switch Joy-Cons more, there's definitely something to be said about the level of comfort that something like this provides. For someone who uses their Nintendo Switch primarily in handheld mode, this type of controller would be a perfect Joy-Con alternative. This next alternative is more for someone that just kind of plain doesn't like the Joy-Cons at all, or just prefers the Nintendo Switch Pro controller. This is pretty much a bracket that goes attached to your Pro controller, and then you place the console on the mount that's right above it, giving your Nintendo Switch more of a clamshell-like design. This is once again a really good alternative and a cost-effective solution to Joy-Con drift. This unit you can probably find from anywhere between $12 and $15 online. I'll put links of course in the description. The Nintendo Switch console is slightly heavier than the Pro controller, so it makes it kind of difficult to play games using the gyro controls. But I think that if you're someone that simply just does not like the Joy-Cons, or you're looking for a more clamshell-like design, this would be perfect. And lastly, I just want to take a look at the Hori SplitPad Pro, who doesn't go overboard to change the button layout of the Joy-Con. The buttons are slightly larger than the Joy-Cons, the analog sticks are slightly more comfortable, it has an included D-pad, and it gives the shoulder buttons a way better trigger feel. The only negative about the SplitPad Pro is that you lose the ability to break them away and use them as individual controllers. But from a design, comfort, and functional standpoint, these are the ultimate Joy-Con replacements. As much as I love my Nintendo Switch Joy-Cons, if there's anything that comes close and even exceeds them in certain areas, it's the Hori SplitPad Pro. So there you have it guys, there are some Joy-Con alternatives that I think are worth taking a look at. While the Joy-Cons themselves are great controllers, it's nice to see that we actually have some alternatives out there. As always, I'll put links to all of these in the description below in case you guys are interested. Until next time, this is Ness, signing out.